In this nitty-gritty Let's Play live stream, we're going to be playing American Mah Jongg at I Love Mahj. I Love Mahj has an exercise room that has excellent skill builders. So if you're new to the game, consider joining I Love Mahj, and you can get an extra week free if you use MAHJLIFE as the promo code. I'm an affiliate partner there, so I would get a small commission if you decide to get a paid subscription. I also want to just thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you watching my videos and for sharing about MAHJLIFE with your friends. Also, moderators, thank you for helping monitor the chat today. This will be a nitty-gritty format, which means we're not going to do any socialization. We're going to stick to the topic, which is hands of least resistance to simplify decision-making, especially during the Charleston. I'm going to share the hands of least resistance, and then we're going to do demonstrations both in the Mah Jongg exercise room with Charleston modeling, and we'll also play with robots and do gameplay with commentary. Welcome. Thanks for being here, Evelyn, Wes. I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to get started right away. Oh, let me get the slideshow ready. We do have some construction going on today, so if you hear any banging and electric tools and such, I ask for your patience and forgiveness in advance. We have hammering going on as well. Probably sounds worse to me than it does to you. Abby, welcome. I did get your email. Kudos for being a winner at the Bingo Bash. All right, let's get going. Hands of least resistance. The first thing that you need to set yourself up for in your mind is any win is a good win. Even if you're just playing 25-point hands, the easiest hands on the card, it's okay. Even advanced players play the 25-point hands, the easy hands. Sometimes speed to ready is paramount, especially if you play competitively, which we're not going to get into today. So much later, when you've gained confidence, you might want to play competitively, and these kinds of hands are ideal for that because you can get there very quickly. You can get to a ready state very quickly. Just tell yourself, any win is a good win. The reason that I call the hands that I'm going to show you this hands of least resistance is because the path of least resistance is the easiest way to continue. And there are certain shapes on the card that are really easy, and there's something else about them that I'm going to share about in just a minute. So the path of least resistance, it's not about being lazy, and it's just really about human nature. We want the path of least resistance. We want a desire to maximize benefit and a desire to minimize effort. And that's where these hands of least resistance come in. And there's no shame in that. No shame. Any win is a good win. Here's the first hand of least resistance. If you look at your card, we're going to be pointing at these hands of least resistance. It's basically any hand with 2 pungs and 2 kongs. Yes, Abby. 2 pungs, 2 kongs. The first one is the year number 1. Pung, kong, pung, kong. So sometimes the shape will be different. So here, oh, you know what? I need to update this. I'm sorry. This, I think, is last year. This is why I had it in, I may need to, let's see, pung, pung. Hold on one second. This is incorrect because it's pung, pung, kong, kong this year. Let's look here. Pung, pung, kong, kong. No, this is correct. Pung, pung. So the first one I need to update. It's pung, pung, kong, kong. Pung, pung, kong, kong. 2, 4, 6, 8. Evens number 1 with 2 options. Any like numbers. Okay, so this is a kong of flowers. Pung, kong, pung. So this one is kong, pung, kong, pung. If you look at the hand under any like numbers number 1. Then we have another pung, pung, kong, kong. And this would be the second hand from the bottom under consecutive run. Pung, pung, kong, kong, 1 suit option and a 2 suit option. We also have the same hand using odd tiles, 1, 3, 3, 5. I call that little odds, or we have big odds, 5, 7, 7, 9, both in 2 suits. We also have winds and dragons in 2 shapes, Kong, pung, pung, kong, and pung, kong, kong, pung. So there's examples there of both of those. There's also the wind and dragon hand, second one. Let's see. This is the second hand down. So I need to correct that, number 3 there. This is the second hand down, Kong, pung, kong, pung, all dragons. And then we have north and south or east and west with offsuit consecutive kongs. So north, south, pung, pung, and then kongs of consecutive numbers in different suits. So there's 6, 7, and 3, 4 as an example. And then 3, 6, 9, number 1, that's a pung, pung, kong, kong hand. We've got 2 options there. We have 3, 6 in 1 suit, 6, 9 in a second suit. And then on the card, there's a third one with 3 suits, the one on the right. Also under 3, 6, 9, we have the dragon hand, fourth one down, pung, kong, pung, kong. And that is it. Those are the hands of least resistance. And the reason why these would allow you to simplify your hand is because they're easy, first of all. They're plentiful. You could see there are many options, and they're indestructible, relatively indestructible, because you can use any number of jokers with those hands. So if you're not ready to claim a discard to create one of the blocks, you can, of course, you've got to let it go because you can't call without having the rest of the tiles in your hand, but you can recover with jokers. So it's relatively indestructible. When would you want to use these hands? If you're ever frustrated with the game or frustrated with your progress. Let's say you're on a learning streak. You haven't had a win in a while. You might focus on hands of least resistance until you get through that learning curve and start enjoying the game more. Also, if you get discouraged about not winning, for being frustrated and discouraged can be different. So if you just feel some sort of way about the game because you're not winning, consider playing hands of least resistance. Also, if you're overwhelmed with all the choices on the card, consider identifying those hands of least resistance and playing them for a while until you master the game and master how to navigate the card and find the best category or hand to play. It can be a little overwhelming at first. So you can limit your options by identifying hands in advance that you can focus on until you get through the learning curve. We're going to now go to I Love Mahj, and we're going to practice playing hands of least resistance. Does anybody have any questions about hands of least resistance? Okay, so I just fixed that year hand, and I think Winds and Dragons number 2 there. Okay, so those are taken care of for the next go round. We're going to have a new card, so all those examples will be different. But I guarantee you that the hands will, there will be hands of least resistance on the card next year. When we get the 2025 card, there will be hands of least resistance on there too. I guarantee it. Okay, so now we are going to play it. I Love Mahj. Let me get it going. Okay, here we go. I'm going to log in. Welcome, Evelyn. Hello. Okay, so we're going to, if you're not familiar with I Love Mahj, it's really easy to use. It's very intuitive. They do have some tutorials, by the way. So if you log in for the first time, consider watching the how-to videos, and they'll walk you through everything. So we're not going to spend any time doing that because they've done a fantastic job already. If you want to play with robots, you would do that here. You could play live with other players, humans. You can also schedule a game with your own friends. Down here is where the exercise room is. And there are several exercises that you can do to help build your skills. So I highly recommend playing in these different areas and enjoy yourself learning while you learn the game. We're going to focus on the Charleston practice. So we're going to launch this one, and then we're going to play with the 2024 card, of course. Here is our first hand. So when you first get your dealt hand, you should arrange the tiles. I like to arrange them by suit in numerical order. I put my winds and dragons together on one side or the other, and that way you can get the initial lay of the land. And what you want to do is you want to identify the strength of the hand. I have a video called How to Pick a Hand. If you're brand new to the game, consider watching that video. We're going to touch on some of those ideas. The primary way to pick a hand when playing American Mah Jongg is to first identify the strength of the hand and then identify a category to play. So it's a phased approach. You don't want to pick a hand right away because most of the time there won't be one particular hand that you could play. There will be several that you could probably play because the game is very flexible and you have a lot of different number tiles, and even winds and dragons. You could do lots of different things even with the same tiles. So the first thing you want to do is identify the strength of the hand. With American Mah Jongg, the strength of a hand will be anything with a multiple, because the game, if you look at the hands on the card, every hand has pair, single pair, combinations, and then they build from there to pung and kong and quint. So most of the hands have pungs and kongs. So if you target any multiple pair, pung, kong, you're going to set yourself up for success because you're going to need those in the end anyway. So you want to plan with the end in mind. In this case, we have a pair of twos and a pung of twos. So whatever we do, we're going to use these twos. We could play a year hand. We could maybe play an even hand, although in evens there are no double twos. So I probably would not play in evens because we'd have to throw away a pair. We could maybe play a like number hand though, or we could play a consecutive hand, 2-3, 2-3, or something like that. So I would hold the twos, and I would even hold the pair of eights. That is a multiple. I would even probably hold the 6. This looks like it could be a 2, 4, 6, 8 hand. Now, if we're focused on hands of least resistance, pung, pung, kong, kong, we're going to ignore the rest of the tiles. However, I just want to point out that if you're an intermediate player or you're not at the moment focused on simplifying your decision making and you're okay with playing something more complex, this hand would be ideal for this third hand down under like numbers. News with twos. We're not going to do that here though. We're going to let those wins go. But typically, if I were not in this exercise, I would probably keep the west-south. So I just want to be above board about that because that is an option. So I would focus on the opportunity for pung, pung, kong, kong. Two kinds of a pung, 2 pungs, 2 kongs, any variation of that. So we're going to hold these multiples and see what comes in. So let's pass the west, the 1, and the 9. And that's a little bit risky. That's okay though, because every risk is going to have some level, every risk, every pass is going to have some level of risk, and that's okay. So here we have a 4. Maybe that would help us for a year hand. 2, 4, 6, 8. Maybe not 2, 4, 6, 8. The year category, the first hand, 2, 0, 2, 4. So we're going to pass south, red, and 9. We got 5s and a dragon. Now here, clearly we don't need 5s with 2s, so we would maybe pass those. This, though, is very risky. Passing like numbers, in my opinion, is almost as risky as passing a pair. I highly recommend that you don't do that. Instead, we should let something in here go. So if we're playing some kind of a pung, pung, kong, kong hand, I probably would focus on the first year hand. First year hand, 2, 0, 2, 4 of some kind. The first year hand is the only hand of least resistance there. We could maybe even do 2s under like numbers. So let's let the 6 go. Let's see what happens with this. Here we got a 1. Maybe we can keep that. We want to keep going in the Charleston. We want to get more tiles in here to help us with a hand. Okay, we received like numbers. We're going to break those up. Let's pass the 9 crack and this 1 bam. So we're not passing 1 suit. So you want to try to mitigate the risk in the passes. Even though there may be some risk, you want to make it as benign as possible. Okay, so we got the 6 back. We also have an 8 in here. Okay, so we're going to pass the red and the 9, and now we need to let something in here go. With a 2, 8 pung pair, we have a 4, 6, 8. I think what I would do here, I am thinking about another hand that is more difficult, but we're trying to focus on hands of least resistance. Pung, pung, kong, kong of some kind. Let's let the 6 go in this case. Okay, so there's an 8. We have 2s and 8s. We have 2 clear discards. I'd probably let the 4 go and pass fully. I'm hoping that we'll get a 2 bam. No 2 bam. Okay, so now we have 2 2s and 2 8s. So we'll see what happens there. But we could play like numbers with 2s or 8s. That was definitely a challenging process because of how we started. We started with a pair of 2s and a pung of 2s. So that result was not good. Let's replay and see if we can get another example. What? Wait, that's the same hand. We're gonna exit and do it over. You can do the same exercise with the same tiles. We don't want to do that. We want to use a new set of tiles. So let's try again. Okay, so now we have a joker, a flower, north and west, 4, 5, 6 in bams. We have a 1 crack pair with 3, 4, 1 dot, 3 dot, and an 8 dot. If these were your tiles, which category would you focus on? Just the category, not what hand, because you don't need to pick a hand right away. You can wait and just gather. We're going to gather for the strength of the hand. So which category would you focus on? And consider that we're trying to highlight hands of least resistance today. Those are hands that have 2 pungs and 2 kongs. So we're zoning in, or we're zeroing in on those kinds of hands. So think about that. And let me know what category you would focus on. If these were my tiles, I would probably focus on like numbers with 1s, but we have a lot of 3, 4, 5. 3, 4, 5. Look at that. 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 3. I would not pass 2 wins, so I'd probably let the 6th band go. Odds. Okay, so there is a little bit of odd potential in here. Yes, that's true. 1, 3, 1, 3, 5 band there. Let's pass north, 6, 8. That's not bad. It's a little bit risky. Wes says focus on the 1, consecutive runner, little odds. Excellent. Yes, I agree. Okay, let's see what we get. We've got wins and an 8. So we're going to break these up because we're focused on hands of least resistance. We want to target 2 pung, 2 kong hands, 2 pungs, 2 kongs, just as an exercise. This is an exercise in critical thinking. So we need to let something go now. So if we have 3, 4, 3, 4, 5, we have a 1 crack pair, 1, 3, 3. We have a lot of 1, 3, and 5. Let's see. I think what I would do is probably let the 4 go. Or maybe the 5. Keep the 4. We have a lot of 3, 4. So let's see what comes in now. Here's a 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's a run of 4. There's a hand we could play that is a hand of least resistance. Second hand from the bottom on the left. So let's focus on that. Now, we could maybe play a dragon hand, but there are pairs in there, and we're trying to intentionally focus on 2 pung, 2 kong hands. That second hand down under consecutive run has some potential, but that's a little more difficult. We're trying to simplify and focus just on 2 pung, 2 kong hands. Okay, so we do have a dragon. That could work for the 5th hand down, but that is not a hand of least resistance. So we're going to ignore that for now. Let's continue. We'll pass east. And since we have a 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1 suit, let's let the 4 go with a 7. Consecutive run 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, hi, Agnes. I think you might be a little behind the video. Touch that little red dot at the bottom of the video and drag it forward so you can connect with where we're at now. We have a lot of 1, 2, 3, 4 in there, so we're going to hold that. And we got a 4 and a 3. So now we have a strong potential for that second hand from the bottom on the left. Pung, pung, kong, kong, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's pass a 1 with a 4 and a north. So we have 5 discards at the moment. Let's see if we can get another keeper in here. So let's pass the green, the 7, and then the 2. 7, 2. This is a great pass, by the way. I think this is one of the strongest or the most defensive pass you can do. A wind or dragon with a big number, little number, odd, even, 2 suits. That's a perfect pass right there. Oh, look, we got a 5. So I would say if we're focused on hands of least resistance only, I would say that was a really good result. We could use the joker maybe with the 2. We could pung 1, pung 2, and then we just need to build the 3 and 4. And the rest of these would be discards. Okay, we're going to do this one more time with new tiles, and then we're going to play with robots. And again, just as a reminder for anyone just joining us, we're doing an exercise where we're focused on hands of least resistance. Double pung, double kong, pung, pung, kong, kong, any combination of 2 pungs, 2 kong hands. Incidentally, hold on one second. I had this in the presentation, but I took it out. There are these sticky highlighters that you can get on Amazon. They can help identify a hand on the card, and they're removable and very affordable, by the way. So if you were to take one of these highlighters and put it on your card. Okay, so they're sticky. You can see they're sticky on there, and you could just take it. I'm not going to show you the card like that, but I'll just put it over a line so you can see what it would look like. So I put the highlighter right here. So you can mark the hands of least resistance for a quick find while you're playing the game. And if you use these stickies, don't use them to show what hand you're playing, but you could use them to show which hands very quickly are the hands of least resistance, just to facilitate your exercises. And then you could remove them if you were to go to a event with other players, if you don't want them to ask you about why you're doing that, or you could leave them on there and share that as a skill builder if you want to. So there's nothing wrong with marking the card or using highlighters on your card. There's no rule against it. You're welcome to do that if it helps you learn the game. I would recommend doing it as a temporary measure, a temporary tool. So you could find these on Amazon. I'll put a link in the video description below after the event if you're interested, or you can just go to Amazon and type in sticky highlighters. These are called Pantaro, P-O-T-A-N-R-O, Pantaro highlighter. Okay, let's see. Misty's saying a question about the hands of least resistance. In your hand if your hand gives or deals you two pair in pair, pung, kong, pair, pung, pair, hand outright, does that give you an extra option for least resistant? So you can play whatever you like, of course, but this session, we're just focused on hands of least resistance as a way to simplify decision making. Clearly, if you get a hand that you recognize that is not a hand of least resistance, play it and play to win. But if you're trying to exercise critical thinking and focus just on those hands, then try to migrate the hand to, or the development that way, just as an exercise in critical thinking. And that's what I'm going to demonstrate. Okay. So here we have a pair of threes. So with a pair of threes, we could probably do some kind of consecutive hand, some kind of a 2, 3, 4, 5 hand. So I'm going to hold all 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to discard. There is some 7, 8, 9 in there as well. Here's an 8, 7, 8, 9. But we have a little more to work with, I think, with 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's pass the 8 and the 9 and see what happens. A joker could work and it wouldn't be a missing tile. Yeah, you could do that. Absolutely. Yeah, you've got the freedom to do whatever you like, of course, but we're just focused on this as an exercise of critical thinking. We're focused on pung, pung, kong, kong, or any combination of 2 pungs and 2 kongs. So we're going to break up the 8 because look at all these tiles we have to work with a 1 through 5 range. Incidentally, if you look at the hands in the consecutive run category, and there are other consecutive hands as well outside the category, most of them are in mixed suits. And when that is the pattern, usually the range is up to 4 numbers. So having a 5 number range is too high. So we would want to let one of these tiles go. Let's see, if we're doing a pung, pung, kong, kong hand, we could do 2, 3, bam, 4, 5, dot. That would be the second hand from the bottom on the left. We could also do 2, 3. Let's see, if we want to leverage the multiple, that's what I would do. We do have 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 1, 4. Let's let the 1 crack go in this case. It looks a little bit risky, and it is, but you want to take care of your own hand first. Okay, so here's a 6. And I was thinking about letting the 4 go, but I thought if we got a 6, we could use 3, 4, 5, 6. So now we have more options in here. So let's discard the 8 and the 3 here. 1, 3, 8. And probably the 2 can go next. Okay, so we did pick up a 4. That is in our range. You want to keep every number in whatever range you have if you're in consecutive run. 2, 3, 4, 5, or 3, 4, 5, 6. The 4 crack, it's in the range. Even though it's a different suit, I would keep it. And we have tiles we can pass. So we don't need to pick a hand. We don't need to define which one we're playing yet. We're just going to gather. You really don't need to pick a hand as long as you have discards. There's a 3 bam. So now we have discards here. This is a little bit risky. 6, 6, 8, 4 like that. That's pretty risky. We have 2, 3 bam, 4, 5 dot, or 3, 4 bam, 5, 6 dot. 3, 4, 5, 6. So 2, 3, 4, 5, or 3, 4, 5, 6. I would risk it because we're playing a hand of least resistance. We may be able to get to a win pretty quickly. So I think we could bear the risk. Okay, so no keepers here. It just means we have tiles we can pass. And we don't have keepers here either, but we have a hand with no gaps, second hand from the bottom on the right. We can do 2, 3, 4, 5, or 3, 4, 5, 6. I think that was a pretty good result. Even though we have a lot of discards, we have a hand with no gaps. Okay, does anybody have any questions about these hands of least resistance? It's any hand with 2 pungs and 2 kongs, regardless of the shape. It could be pung, pung, kong, kong. It could be kong, pung, kong, pung, kong, pung, pung, kong. It doesn't matter. They're all hands of least resistance. We're going to play with robots next, unless anybody wants me to do another Charleston modeling. You can see that the game is very flexible. You can make just about anything work if you make the right decision at the right time based on the strength of the hand. I guess I'm going to go to play with robots now. Let me go ahead and share my screen again, and we'll play the game fully. So we're going to scroll up and play with bots. We're going to do the bot. They have 3 different bot levels: beginner, intermediate, and advanced. So we're going to stick with intermediate. We'll play just for fun. Let's see. Yeah, the purpose of this is just to simplify. We're doing it intentionally. We are not interested in live games. We want to play with robots. All right, so let's see what we can do here. So this will be a good one. South, green. 1, 2, 5 in bams. 3, 5, 6, 8 in cracks. 3, 4, 5, 6 in dots with a pair of 6s. If these were your tiles, which category would you focus on? If these were my tiles, I'd play 3, 4, 5, 6 of some kind. I wouldn't pick a hand. I would just hold every 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's what I would do. So we're just going to hold 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to let everything else go. So we have 5 discards from the green dragon over. 5 discards. We have 3, 4, 5, 6, and you don't need to pick a hand. It's a waste of time to start looking at what hand to play because we have way too many options, and it could change just with one draw or one pass in this case. So let's let go of the south, the 1 and the 8. That's a great pass right there. Okay, so we picked up 7s. So one thing we could do here is instead of 3, 4, 5, 6, we could do 4, 5, 6, 7. See the 7s that came in? We could go leveraging the 6-dot pair. We could instead do 4, 5, 6, 7. We just got in 2 7s. So let's keep the 7s and pass green to bam south. This is a little bit risky that with a corresponding dragon with the 2, but we have lots of good fodder in here. Okay, we're not looking at a specific hand, Misty. We're thinking category level. So we're just playing consecutive and we're gathering. We're not looking at what hand to play, not yet. We're going to refrain from picking a hand. We don't even want to look at that level of detail. We're just going to gather because we've got lots of discards. When we run out of 3 tiles to pass, that's when you pick a hand. Okay, so we still have discards. Anytime you have discards, you do not need to pick a hand. You can play much quicker this way by just looking at what you have to pass. Once you identify 3 tiles to pass, move it on. Don't hold up the game by looking at the detail level because it really doesn't matter until you have all keepers or you have only 1 or 2 discards where you have to pick a hand in order to free up more discards to continue passing. So if you're playing with people who are quicker than you for whatever reason, this is one way to quicken the game and keep up the pace of the game. You don't need to pick a hand until you run out of discards. Okay, so we did get another 7. We're going to continue. Agata. Okay, the robot on the left stopped the charleston. And we have here, look at all the north and 9 we got. We picked up a 7 dot. We have a lot of tiles that we can use. We have 5, 7 in bams, 3, 5, 6, 7 in cracks, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in dots. So the predominant pattern here is going to be 4, 5, 6, 7 because we have 3 7s, 2 6s, 2 5s. So the range is going upward. So you want to watch the trend, especially if you're playing consecutive. Because of that, we can probably let the 3 go and pass fully. Because if we're doing 4, 5, 6, 7, we don't need 3s. All right, so we did get an 8. So the trend is going up even higher. So we have here a 5 dot pair now and a 6 dot in there. 5, 6 dot. We could do 4, 5, 6, 7, second hand from the bottom on the left, 1 suit. We could also do 4, 5, 6, 7, or I'm sorry, 5, 6. No, 4, 5, 6, 7 in 1 suit. Let me just pull these down here. 4, 5, 6, 7, 1 suit. We could also do 4, 5, 6 dot 7, 8 crack. 5, 6 dot 7, 8 crack. Same hand, but just a different range. 5, 6, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 5, 6, 7, 8. Both of those would leverage the 2 pair here. And that is a hand of least resistance. So if our tiles go down and we're not ready to call, it's okay because we can use any number of jokers with this kind of hand. That's why it's powerful. So let's start by discarding the 9 crack. I want to get these organized a little bit. So these are all discards right here. Let's see. There are a lot of discards for sure. Oh, wait, we want to keep 7, 8. Let's put these over here so we make sure we keep those because we want to do maybe 5, 6 dot, 7, 8 crack. 3, 4, 5, 6, definitely. Those are keepers. So 5, 6, 9 in cracks are discards. 3 dot, 5, 7, those are all discards. Let's start by discarding the 9 crack. We have 5 discards and a hand with no gaps. We have options. So we're going to be an underdog until, yeah, that's a good point, Smith. You could do 3, 4, 5, 6 because of the 3. We have discards, so we can afford to keep that extra tile. Okay, wait. 5 bam. What about the 5 bam, Misty? What did you want to say about the 5 bam? The 5 bam is not useful here because we have 5, 6 dot pair pair. Oh, you discard the 5 bam. I like to discard from the outside in because there's an advanced tactic on Joker exchange, optimizing for Joker exchange. So I've trained my mind to discard from the outside in. It is a more advanced strategy, discard planning strategy. So I don't want to share it right now, but you could discard any one of these tiles and be fine. Okay, here we go. Okay, so let's see. Here's a keeper. So now we have a 7 crack pair. 7 crack pair. So we can do 5, 6 dot, 7, 8 crack. And that would use 3 multiples. 5, 6 dot, 7 crack. 3 multiples in there. So let's discard the 7. Okay, so here we go. We're going to ignore the 2. I don't know why it wanted us to do something with a 2. Okay, we got a 9 bam. Somebody got a joker already. That's our tile, but we can't call it. We only have one. We're going to be able to use jokers though, because we're playing a hand of least resistance. So there's no worry to fret. There's no worry, no worries, no fret. Just chill and trust the process. There's a 4. We've got a lot of 4, 5, 6 in here. These are all discards here. Can't call that. I would probably still discard that one because we have pairs of 5, 6. Don't want wins. That's another one of our tiles, but we can use jokers if we need to. There's a pair of 4s. 4, 5, 6, 7. There's another hand of least resistance there. 4 crack 5, 6, 7 dot. 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's discard the 6. We can put this down here for now since they are in the same suit. Okay, that's a quick win. These kinds of hands, east, west with 2, 3, pung, pung. That's a hand of least resistance. 2 pungs, 2 kongs. All right, let's start again. All right, now here we have west, south, 2, 4 bam, pair 4, 2, 4, 9, pung 9, 4 dot, 7 dot pair. If these were your tiles, which category would you focus on, considering that we're targeting hands of least resistance? Six, 7, 8, 9. Wes says consecutive runs, 6, 7, 8, 9. That could come in. We have a 7 and a 9. I would just hold the 9s and the 7s, which happen to be odd tiles. So I would think about playing big odds, But if 6s and 8s come in, we could definitely play a consecutive run hand. So Misty is saying like numbers probably with 4s, but I would not do that because we have a pung of 9s and a pair of 7s. I would go more for the pung and the pair rather than the pair and the singles. Big odds says Smith. Yep. Big odds says JL. Agnes says or odds, consecutive run or odds. That would give us the most flexibility, consecutive run or odds. There are no consecutive numbers in here though, so that would be a long shot, but we want to pass as well. So you got to think about what you're going to pass to. And we have like numbers with 2s and 4s. Yep, but we're not talking about quints today because we're doing a basic, this is nitty-gritty basics today, where we're focused on simplifying, and playing a quint would not be simplifying. That would be going big, which is fine, but that's more advanced. So we're trying to focus on fundamentals to simplify decision making. Yeah, passing will be a little tricky, but what I would do is I'd probably let the West go and then a 2 and a 4. So something like that. It would be a bit risky here. Maybe different suits so we could break up the 2 crack and the 4 bam later. Okay, so here's a 5. If we're playing 5, 6, 7, 8, probably 6, 7, 8, 9 is the range we want. So the 5 really is not going to help us. So let's let the 4 go with a 1 maybe. Here's a 4, 5. If we get a 6 dot, we could switch to 4, 5, 6, 7 and break up the 9. Let's just keep an eye on it. Okay, so we have an 8. There's an 8. That's in our range. We want 6, 7, 8, 9, or maybe big odds with dots and cracks just because of the where the multiples are landing. So let's do keep the 1 if it matches the 9. Well, Misty, that is for not a hand of least resistance. That is a hand of, that's just a more complex hand, and we're not focused on those hands. We're trying to focus on pung, double or 2 pung and 2 kong hands only, hands of least resistance as an exercise. So we're not focused on all the hands on the card. We're trying to simplify as an exercise. So let's see. We got a 9. And now we're going to keep going. We can easily keep going. Oh my gosh. I just noticed that. I didn't even notice that before. It's pretty funny. Okay, look what we got, a 6 dot. So now we have 6, 7, 8, 9. So Wes's vision of where this hand could go was spot on. 6, 7, 8, 9 came in, and we're not going to pick a hand. We don't need to because we have discards. At this point, I would let the 4 bam go because clearly we have strength with 6 through 9. 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, now there's a 4, 5, 1, 6. Here's a 6. I would hold that 6 because it is in our range. And we have a 9 crack pung, so we really don't need the 5. So we can pass 3 here, one of each suit. We ended up here with a 7. We have 3 tiles we can pass, definitely. Now here, we could pass 4, 5, 8. That's a bit risky with a 4, 5. So what I would probably do, let's see here, 4, 5, I think I would probably let the 6 go. We do have a hand in here with no gaps. 6, 7 dot, 8, 9 crack. 6, 7, 8, 9. So the 9 dot could maybe even go. So for example, keep the 8 and pass the 9. That would be even better. Okay, so now we have 5 discards in a hand with no gaps, and it is a hand of least resistance. So we're doing 6, 7, 8, 9, second hand from the bottom on the right. We can use any number of jokers. Let's see if we can maybe get some jokers. Wow, look at these flowers going down. Now the last hour, we're gonna keep doing this. We'll maybe play one or two more games, and then we're gonna open it up to any hand on the card. So you can see the progression, but I want to do at least a couple more hands of least resistance, and then we'll open it up. Okay, here's an 8. That is in our range, so I would keep it, even this one, just as an option. We're doing 6, 7, 8, 9, so I'd hold that for a little bit. It is out right there. Let's let the 6 bam go. That's a good discard. Okay, now that's our tile. We can't call it, but that's okay because it's a hand of least resistance. We can use the joker if we need to. Here they are playing the East-West Kong hand again. They love those hands, these robots. Okay, we don't need 3s. Oh, hold on. My dog is going nuts here. Hold on one second. Babe. Sorry, Riley's going a bit nuts right now. Okay, so that's our tile right there, but we can't call it. We're going to have to wait, and that's okay. So train yourself to calm yourself when tiles go down that you need, because most times you will be able to use jokers to recover. It's okay if one of your tiles goes down, especially if you're playing a hand of least resistance. You can recover with jokers. So we're not going to be anxious about this at all. Here's a 7. That's in our range. We might as well keep it. I'm shocked that they didn't get it. Okay, so here's an 8 crack, and we have a 4 now. So at this, oh, we can barely get our feet under us when these robots win. It's amazing how they win before we even, anyway, I won't to rant. But anyway, we just got to this point where we have all these, our whole hand is 6, 7, 8, 9. We have lots of options in here. So shady. Yeah, let's just keep going. I was hoping we could go a little further with it, but these robots they're formidable opponents, and we are focused on one particular kind of hand, so it's going to take a little longer to build. All right, so now we have another big multiple in here, the 9 bam pung. So train your eye to target multiples, and that'll quicken your decision making. Whatever we play, we're going to use the 9. So if you look at the rest of the tiles, what category would you focus on with that 9 bam pung? And remember, we're focused right now on hands of least resistance. Hands of least resistance. Pung, pung, kong, kong type of hands. There could be other things that you could do here, but we're focused intentionally on practicing some critical thinking skills. Pung, pung, kong, kong. If this were my hand, I would do 6, 7, 8, 9. 6, 7, 8, 9 of some kind. 6, 7, 8, 9. So I would hold the 6, I would hold the 8, and just hold every 6, 7, 8, 9 until we run out of discards. There's a 9 and an 8. And we have, two dragons. I would not pass 2 dragons. This would be very risky. So I would start breaking this out. This is when you would pick a hand, because you need to whittle out tiles that you could maybe use, but are just not as useful as other tiles. So if we have 8, 9, and we're trying to focus on hands of least resistance where we have 2 pungs and 2 kongs, I probably would keep the 6 and 7 and break up the 9. break up the 9 dot. We have an 8, 9, 6, 7, 8, 9. We could maybe use the joker to help us there in one suit. It really doesn't matter which one we keep, but we could maybe let the 7 go. So we're not sending a 6, 9 in one suit. We could maybe do 6, 7 dot, 8, 9, bam, 6, 7, 8, 9. So what we need in here are 7s. Let's see if we can get 7s. No, but we got a 6. So now we can let the 9 go with a 2 and a white dragon. We could maybe let the 6 bam go and keep the white dragon, but I think it's fine to let it go right now. Okay. Let's see. So we're going to look at, here's a 5, 6, 8, 9. That doesn't work. So this 5 is not a keeper. We're going to let it go. What we'd really like in here is a 7 dot. So we have tiles we can pass here. Oh, we got a 7 bam. And we have tiles we can pass. We don't need to pick a hand. And we have tiles we can pass, so we don't need to pick a hand. All right, so here's the result. We've got a pair of 6 dots. If a 7 dot comes in, that would be great. Otherwise, we have 6, 7, 8, 9 in one suit. So we could do 6, 7, 8, 9, second hand from the bottom. We have 3 discards with options. I think that was a really great result. Here's 5, 6. Let's let the 1 go. We got a keeper. There's an 8. So our hand is the second hand from the bottom, hand of least resistance. We can use any number of jokers. This is probably the most powerful hand that we've had so far as being actionable. Okay, so let's let the 5 go. I don't know if you noticed here, but we have 6, 7, crack, 8, 9, bam, 6, 7, 8, 9. No gaps there. So I probably would discard the 6 dot next, unless we draw a 6 dot or 7 dot. If we draw a 7 dot, we can switch. We're ready to come 8 and 9. I'm shocked that these robots have not had any exposures yet. With jokers, by the way. They seem to get jokers and quick hands. Okay, here's a 7 dot. We can't call it, and that would have been nice if we had that for our 6 dot, but so now that totally makes the 6 dot pair useless. So we're going to let those go, and we're going to focus on 6, 7 crack or 6, 7, 8, 9 in one suit. Okay, now this is where we need to make a choice. We could pung because we do have a joker. We could also wait and see if something else comes in, maybe 6, 7 crack. Because we have a robot over here with an exposure, they're expediting hand development, and I would probably do the same. I think I would be more assertive because somebody else at the table is playing to win. They're playing hard to win. So I would want to try to meet them there. So I would go ahead and call. So now we don't need 6, 7 crack. So let's let those go. That's our tile, but we are not ready, and that's fine. We can use jokers if we need to. Here we can do an exchange. Now we can use that for the 6. Oh, I'm shocked these robots are not playing wind hands here. Seems like one of these robots would always be playing winds. Okay, we're going to let this go. Feels a little weird letting a pung go. We're ready to claim a discard for every block. I define that's my definition of being set. We're set, which is a good thing. It's not a guarantee though. We don't want flowers. Looks like nobody wants flowers. We should let these sixes go. Let's do it right now. Nobody wanted it. Looks like nobody wants the white dragon either. All right, we've got another Mah Jongg. Okay, so 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, first hand. We got pretty close on that one. We have a pung out. We're ready to pung the 6 and ready to pung 8, 9. All of our tiles were in the wall. So we're going to start another game. We're now going to open it up to the whole card. So we're not going to focus just on hands of least resistance. We did that for the first hour as a critical thinking exercise. Now we're going to just open it up to any hand on the card. We're still going to think about hands of least resistance because they are powerful. Here we have jokers, which is nice. We have a flower, 2, 5, 9 in bams with a pair of 9s, 1 crack, 2, 3, 5, 7 in dots. If this was your dealt hand, what category would you focus on? If this were my hand, I would play either consecutive run or 3 or 3, 6, 9. I would hold the 3 and the 7. I would not think about playing a quint right now because we have a 9 band pair and a flower, but we have no dragons. So I would not consider playing a quint. Not yet, anyway. Okay, so we got a 9. Here's a 6. We have like numbers with 2s up there. I would not do that. I would instead let something go. I think I'd let the 7 go and maybe play a 3, 6, 9 hand of some kind. Okay, so here 8s we have now. We have 2 clear discards. So we have 6, 7, 8, 9 or 3, 6, 9. I think what I would do here is maybe let one of the 8s go because without a 7, the 8s are useless. So we could continue and we could pass 2, 8, and then we need to let something go. So I think I would not pass like numbers. Passing like numbers is almost as risky as passing a pair. So I don't do that unless I'm very close to a winning hand. So probably what I would do, it's really 6 one, half dozen the other. I think letting the 6 bam go is less risky. For example, we could do 2, 3, 8, but that's a little risky since the 2, 3 are the same suit. We could maybe do 2, 3 this way, 2, 3, but then the 2, 8 is risky. So I think doing an 8 with a 2 like that is probably the safest. Okay, so now we have a 7, 8. Here's tiles we can pass. We could still maybe keep the 3 for 3, 6, 9. We got the 6 back. Here's 2 tiles to pass. So we do have a 7, 8, and a 9. I think 6, 7, 8, 9, 6 through 9 is the best way to go. And I wouldn't pick a hand, not yet. We're still gathering. So I would hold every 6, 7, 8, 9 until we run out of discards. Like right now, we have only 1 discard. I probably would consider passing the 6. 8, 9, 6. That's a little bit risky. Maybe this one would be better. 8, 9. I think what I would do to mitigate risk here, 8, crack, 6, 7, 8, 9. There is something we could consider here. Maybe let the 5, 6 go, because we do have potential for a gap hand, which is not ideal. The 6th hand down under consecutive run. It is not ideal playing a gap hand, but if you've got jokers, you could swing it. 6, 7, 8, chow with pungs of 9s. So we could use the jokers as a 9 crack or 9 dot, because we have most of a chow in here. 6, 7, 8 crack or 6, 7, 8 dot with pungs of 9s and 5 flowers. Clearly we need more flowers, but I would consider playing that hand because of what we have here. But we do have another hand in here with no gaps. 7 dot, 8 crack, 9 bam. No gaps. That is the 3rd hand down on the right. Pair flowers with 3 consecutive kongs. Let's just pass 2. Okay, no keepers. We're going to pass. We got the 9. That's a kong now. So probably what I would do is play 7, 8, 9 mixed suit kongs, 7 dot, 8 crack, 9 bam. But I'd still hold those just to see what comes in. There's an 8 dot. It'd be really nice to get a 7 crack in here. We could even maybe use one of the jokers as a 7 crack and leverage that 7 dot pair. So probably the 7, let's see, the 6 crack can go, because we could do 7 dot, 8 crack, 9 bam and let the 8 dots go, just sacrifice them. We could also maybe use the jokers for a 7 crack. So let's just see what happens. Don't need threes. Okay, now that's where we would need to make a choice. We could kong there. Since we have no gaps and we have a kong of 9s, we have no 7 crack, which is a gap. So I'd do it. I would call and kong, because we have a hand with no gaps there. If you have a hand with no gaps, go for it. We need one good pick. And then of course we need a flower. So we're playing 7, 8, 9 mixu kongs. There goes our 7 crack. Seven bam, we don't need. We need a 7 dot. These robots get the jokers too. Stinkers. There's a 7 crack that's already out. We're looking for a 7 dot, or an 8 crack would be nice. There's our flower. We got a flower. Oh my goodness. What would you do if you didn't have the extra joker? I would still play to the strength of the hand, which is the 9 bam. So, but I would not have called it. I wouldn't have been able to call it because we had 2 jokers there. So we wouldn't have been able to call it. We would have just had to sit tight. So we need a 7 dot. We keep getting 7s in the other suits. We're looking for a 7 dot. There's a 6. 9 crack. We need an 8 crack. We want our joker back. Oh, they got it. All right, let's see if we can get our 7 dot in here. Don't need that. We're looking for a 7 dot for pung pung kong kong. There's a joker open. And they got it immediately. Stinkers. Shady, as Wes would say. Okay, we're looking for a 7 dot or a joker. Eight, we already let go of. 9 crack. 4 dot. We want a 7 dot. Let's see, we're gonna ignore that. One moment. Okay, here we go. We're looking for 7 dot. Come on in. We don't need 5 dot. We're looking for 7 dot. You'd think that we would get at least 1. Oh, it's really painful when you're waiting for 1. There they go. Okay, so the player to our right had a 7 dot and there was 1 7 dot in the wall. So Wes on the side, they're playing a 5, 6, 7 gap hand over there. So, okay, here we go. We're gonna play again. Now, what do we have? Flower, Northwest White Dragon, singles, 3 bam, 698, or 689 in bams, 3 bam pair, 3689 in bams, then a 2467 in cracks, and then a 7 dot single. If these were your tiles, which category would you focus on? Which category would you focus on? All right, 369, that's what I would do. 369, we have a 3 bam, that's what I would target. And then with the rest of these tiles, we do have 6-9. We do have a 2-4 though. So I would hold the 2-4 because maybe we could do 2, 3, 4, 5 or 1, 2, 3, 4. And we have tiles we can pass. Here's a 4 now. So we have pairs 3, 4. 3, 4. So I would focus on 1, 2, 3, 4 or 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got tiles we can pass. So these probably, we could maybe do 3, 4, 5, 6, I suppose. Let's see. So maybe the 9 can go. There's a 2. We've got tiles we can pass here. 9, 6. Probably that 6 can go. So we're going to do some kind of a 1, 2, 3, 4 hand. Here's a 2. We're just going to gather. This is one way that you can quicken your decision making and simplify just by targeting multiples and gathering. You don't need to pick a hand. Just gather for whatever supports the strength of your hand. In this case, 3, 4 of some kind. So let's let the wind go in that dragon. There's a 5 and a 6. So we have 2, 3, 4, 5 or 3, 4, 5, 6. We have tiles we can pass. We have a 3 bam pair and a 4 crack. So we really don't need a white dragon. Okay, east-west. I would not pass east-west. That is almost as risky as passing a pair. Same with passing 2 dragons in like numbers. They're all equally risky. So I would not do that. Instead, I would let something go. We have a 1, 2 in dots, 2, 4, 5 in bams, 2, 3 in 2, 2, 4, 5 in cracks, and then a 2, 3 in bams. We have a hand here with no gaps. 2, 3, 4, 5. Hand of least resistance. We also have 2 crack, let's see, 2 dot, 3 bam, 4 crack. So really the 2 crack and the 1 can go. So we can mitigate the risk a little bit right there. This is a great pass. Even odd 2 suits with a wind. So we have probably a 2, 3, 4, 5 hand. 2, 3, 4, 5 of some. Okay, so we have winds there. When do you decide if you should hold dragons or winds? Oh, excuse me. It depends on the strength of the hand. Like here, we do have north and south. We could do north and south with 3, 4. The third hand down under winds and dragons. We also have a pair in here, though, that would be useful for the second hand from the bottom. I would rather leverage pairs or multiples. So we can keep north and south as long as they support the strength of the hand. You could keep them. In the case of what we're doing, it wasn't working. Let's see. Let's do 2, 9 east. Here's a 3. So we have a 2, 3, 3, 4, 5. There's a 4, 2, 3, 4, 5 of some kind. Okay, so we have north and south with 3, 4, or we could do 2, 3, 4, 5 of some kind. So we're just going to gather because we've got discards. We really don't need to pick a hand. Here's a 5. Now we have 3 multiples for 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's shaping up nicely. And that's a hand of least resistance. So north and south just went down. A 5 came in. I would give up on the north and south at this point. Because now we have a pung of 5s, a pair of 3s, and a pair of 4s. I'd let the winds go. So I'd probably commit to 2, 3, bam, 4, 5, crack. Pung, pung, kong, kong. Oh, you're welcome, Charlotte. That's our tile. We're not ready, though. It's okay. No worries. No worries at all. We'll get there. Got to trust the process. So they have a 1 and a 7 kongs. They're playing the first hand under addition. So they're going to need a 6. Nobody wanted that 6 bam. So we need to let those go. We do have a joker now, so we could do pung pung. We need a little help with the 4, but if the 4 goes down, I would kong. And we're ready to kong the 5. I'd probably I keep yawning. I'm sorry. I'd probably let the flower go next. We don't need a flower. That's going to be risky if you hold on to it. There's a 4. Nobody wanted the 6. Okay, so we're set. We could pung 2, pung 3, kong 4, kong 5. That is my definition of being set. Ready to call for any callable block in your hand. Ready to act on every callable block in your hand. That's being set. Some people say being set is being ready to win, but I call that being ready to win. It's either you're set or you're ready. Set or ready, 2 different things. That's my conviction. It's just a word to describe a status. It's not important, really. But it does matter if you're thinking about playing to win. If you're set, I would push hard to win. Same with if you're ready. It's kind of like ready, set, go. So it's maybe the opposite when it comes to mahjong. It's set, ready. It's go, ready, set, or go, set, ready. That's kind of the progression. Go, build your hand. If you're set, that means you can call every block. And then if you're ready, that means you just need one more tile. So it's almost opposite of ready, set, go. It's go, set, ready. I hope that makes sense. Go, set, ready. We're good there. Oh, okay, still no 6 crack is out. I am concerned about the player on our right. Don't need 3 crack. Oh, that stinker. We had a really good potential here to win, but the robot jumped in there. These robots are winning every single game. It's kind of, it can be a little discouraging. You want to try to play with humans because humans do play differently. Okay, so we have a pair of flowers, south green, and then a white dragon pair, 1469 M BAMs, 129 in cracks. I guess I didn't get enough sleep last night because I keep yawning. If these were your tiles, what would you focus on? What category would you focus on here? I know what I would do. Year. Yes, that's what I would do too. I would focus on a year hand or maybe all dragons. So let's let the south go. Well, yeah, because I want to leverage that pair. There is a wind hand under the year, but it'd be nice if we can work in these flowers, which is why I would focus on probably either the second hand down under the year or the second hand down under winds and dragons. Okay, there's a dragon. Well, let's say 9-6 south here. No keepers. I would love to get a red dragon. West 6-1. That's not bad. Okay, let's do 9-6 west. Different player. North 6-5. That can go. Oh, I see. Yeah, we could do news with dragons. Oh, I would not do that though. We're kind of in between. Let's just pass 2. There's a west. So news with dragons, we have our pair. We could swing that. Okay, so here's year tiles. All right, we're going to try news with dragons, second hand from the bottom. We need an east. I gave up several wins in there, but I don't remember an east. There's a joker. We can Kong one of these dragons. A flower. This is where I would love to get a red dragon. We're looking for an east. An east would be awesome. The way these robots play east and west, though, I'm a little concerned. We need east. Green. We should let a flower go. We only need a pair for that second hand from the bottom. Nobody wants south. Are you serious right now? These robots are just out of control. We got really close. We were one away from that dragon hand. Well, two. We have an extra flower. All right, let's keep going. It's all good practice. Okay, so we have a joker, east green, pair of dragons, 3-band, 1, 4, 5, 6, 9 in cracks, pair 6, and an 8 dot. If these were your tiles, what category would you focus on? If this were my hand, I would do either 4, 5, 6 or 3, 6, 9, maybe like numbers, because we do have dragons. So I would try to work in the dragons here. So here's 4, 5, 6. I would hold 4, 5, 6, either 3, 6, 9, 4, 5, 6, or like numbers with sixes, all targeting the 6. And that leaves us with 3 discards. So we don't have to pick a hand. We can stay high level. Here's a dragon. Now we pick a hand or we pick a category. I think I would let the 3 go. We could still maybe do a 3, 6, 9 hand, but we have no flowers. We have no flowers. We have no other 6, fourth hand down or the second hand from the bottom. I think I would do 4, 5, 6 of some kind, or maybe like numbers with sixes. There's a 4. There's a wind, a 2, 9. Those can go. We have 4, 5, 6 in here. It'd be really nice to get, let's say, a 7 crack, or maybe a 3 or 7 crack. No keepers. Maybe that might work, but we have a gap. We need a 3 or 7 crack. We got both. Okay, so now we can let the 8 go and the green can go. We need to let something go here. 3, 4, 5, 6 or 4, 5, 6, 7. Since we have a pair of white dragons, I think what I would do is plan it where we have at least one pair, the 4 crack, 4, 5, 6, 7, white dragons, second hand down. So I would let the 3 go because the 7 crack could be our other pair. We can use this joker for our 5. Okay, no keepers. There's, we can, let's see, we want to keep that 4. 4, 5, 6, 7. It's an extra tile, but if we get a 3 crack again, we can leverage that. So let's see if we can get that 3 crack back. No, that's okay though. That 4 crack is extra, but we have a hand with no gaps. Second hand down under consecutive run. See if we can actually get it. That's a pung. Let's take it. We got to be aggressive with these robots because they're aggressive. You got to match your opponents. Match your opponent's playing style if you can. So let's pung. We're doing 4, 5, 6, 7. The 4 crack is a pair. So we have 1 discard, the 4 crack. It's a little risky because we need that 7 crack. We're gonna let this 4 crack go. It is a year tile. I try to discard year tiles if we're not using them. We do have 5 cracks, 6 cracks, 7, 8. If the 7s go down or if they get used in a Kong or something. So we're looking for a 7 crack, ideally. A white dragon, we could Kong. Let's go. Eight crack. We have 5, 6, 7, 8, but we have our pair. We're ready to Kong. We could switch to 5, 6, 7, 8. Pung, pung, Kong, Kong, hand to least resistance. We'd have to throw away a pair and a pung. I wouldn't do that. They got there first. Every game. They win every game. That can be a little discouraging. So try to play with humans if you can. Okay, here we go. Another game. So we have flower, west, 6 band, 3, 4, 6, 8, 9 in cracks, singles, 1, 4, 6, 9 in dots with a 6 dot pair. 6 dot pair. If these were your tiles, which category would you focus on using these tiles? Two, 4, 6, 8. See a lot of 2, 4, 6, 8. That's interesting. Let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8. If these were my tiles, I would focus on 3, 6, 9. I would not focus on 2, 4, 6, 8 because we have no 2. So I would let the 1 go the west, and I would not play 2, 4, 6, 8 because there's no 2. I think we have 3, 6, 9 in here instead. 3, 6, 9. See all that 3, 6, 9 right there? So I would let these go here. Lots of 6s. Yeah, we could do like numbers with 6s. We got to see what comes in. A 2 did come in, but I still don't think it would have blended well. It would not have gelled with these tiles. Okay, so no keepers here. Let's do 1, 8 with a green dragon. There's a 9 and a 6. We might even be able to play the pair hand. 3, 6, 9 pair hand. We have tiles we can pass. Let's just tuck these in for a minute. Is there 6, 7, 8, 9? 3, 6, 9, 6, 9. 3, 6, 9. We have a lot of 3, 6, 9. We could even do that 3, 6, 9, fifth hand down, 6s in the middle. 3, 6, 9 in cracks with 6s in the middle. 2, 7, 8. That's pretty risky. But I think even if we were to give up a 9, it would be just as risky. So I would just do it and keep the 9. Okay, thank you for being here, Susan. Okay, here's a 6 crack. We can let the 8 go with that dragon. So now I think is when I would let the 9 bam go. I think I would play 3, 6, 9 with 6s, or else switch to like numbers with 6s. Here's that 3, 6, 9, 1, 2, fifth hand down under 3, 6, 9. Okay, we have tiles we can pass. Let's do 7, 9 here. We got a 6. Let's just sort this. Okay, so we have 6 bam pair, 6 crack Kong, 6 dot pair. So I would switch to like numbers with 6s and leverage the pung here. All we need in here are flowers. It's just going to be a matter of whether we get them or not, and we can use jokers. That's a hand of least resistance, which is the topic for today. So let's go ahead and Kong. We have a hand with no gaps, so we could do it. We're ready to pung the sixes. We just need a little help with our flower. So we're looking for flowers this time around. Yep, I was thinking about that, Misty, but we ended up with a pung of sixes. And instead of throwing away a six crack, we're switching to 369 with flowers. And the 3-9 in cracks were super weak with only one of each, and those need to be Kongs. There's a keeper. Okay, we need some help with flowers here. There's a pure Kong over there with this robot. I think you might be behind the video, Misty. You might want to drag that red dot forward because I think you might be behind. We need flowers. Wow, that's weird. Oh yeah, we want to sabotage if they're doing like numbers with nines or 369. Let's see. Let's let the 3 go. Yeah, didn't want it. They must be doing like numbers with nines. We can use that joker for the flower. I'm surprised they didn't take it for like numbers. Oh, no worries, Misty. Okay. We don't want to hold winds. These robots love wind hands. Okay, then we have a robot over here with 9 crack jokers. Now we have a robot with jokers with a 2. We got a joker. Amazing. I'm cynical. Uh-oh. Of course. Of course they got Mahjong. We're one away from like numbers. Goodness sake. I wonder, let's just for grins. Oh, too late. We're already in the game. I wanted to switch to intermediate or to the standard robot just to compare. Okay, we've got a wide, I call this a widespread. This is when you have no, oh, wait, we have a multiple right here. 5. Never mind. 5 crack pair. 5 crack pair, target the multiple. With a 5 crack pair, with the remaining tiles, which category would you focus on? Or let me rephrase. Which category would you focus on considering the rest of the tiles that could be used to support the 5 crack pair? Consecutive run. Yep. 5, 6, 7, 8. 5, 6, 7, 8 of some kind. 5, we could maybe even do 5 through 9. So then I would just break these out here. 5, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep. There's a 7. We've got tiles we can pass. That's fine. 2, 7, not a problem. Here's a lot of 5 let's see. I don't think I would pass 1-9. We have 5-6-7, 5-7. There's 5-7-7-9. We have 5-7 crack, 7-9 dot, maybe, but now we just picked up a 6 crack. We could do 5-6-7-8 or 5-9. There is 5-7-7-9 in here, but we'd have to throw away a pair of 6s. I would leverage the multiples. So we're going to let the 9 go. Actually, be better to throw the 7 here. Then we have these to pass. Maybe we could use the dragons. 5-6-7-8 dragon. Tiles to pass, not a problem. It looks really risky, but it's not. The 1-5 is a bit risky. There's a 9. So I would let the dragons go and play 5-9. Let's see. Yeah. And I would risk the 6-7 because of the strength of the hand. We have one of 2 pair, the 6 and the 8. Those are pair tiles for that first hand on under consecutive run. We could pung. We're actually set because we could pung the 5, Kong the 7, and pung the 9. That we're set already. So we can take on that risk. Let's throw the West. So we're playing the first hand, ready to rock and roll on this one. Let's see if we can actually win. Now we do have a 6 crack. Now we could maybe do 5-6-7-8 pung pung kong kong and leverage that pung. So let's just wait and see what happens. We don't have to make a choice until the tiles go down. Well, even if a 6 goes down, we don't need to call it because that's a pung for the pung pung kong kong hand. I would say probably 5-9 because we're set on that hand. And then I would just discard the 6. These robots love wind hands, so we're letting them go. We're going to try to sabotage. They also love dragon hands. But they usually have jokers in their hand. So if you try to sabotage, they usually call the tiles to make exposures right away. Okay, let's pung. So this 6 crack is extra. We're doing 5-9. We need an 8 crack. That's our only vulnerability. So we're ready to pung and kong, 5-7. There's a kong and north. Okay, so they didn't take the south. That leads me to believe they're playing a quint because they didn't take that south. I bet they're playing a quint up there. They're not blinking at any of these wins. We're going to pung. We're looking for a 8 crack ideally. Okay, that'll work. So now we're ready on an 8 crack. 5 crack pung, 6 crack pair, 7 crack kong, 8 crack pair. We need a pair. And then 9 crack. So we're waiting on an 8 crack. It's a pair tile. So we don't need jokers at this point. B, I think you might be behind the video, the live stream, because we are, I think, way beyond a 2-4-6-8 hand at the moment. So I think you need to pull the red dot forward in the video. That's a pair for us. We're good. We are looking for an 8 track. That should be fine. There's a pung over here. Oh, we don't need 5. Where's that 8? Oh my goodness. So they are playing a quint and they have our 8. So we waited a long time for that one. They have the 8 across from us because they're playing a quint. All right, let's try again. Okay, we have a pair of flowers there and then a wide spread. We have northeast white, 1 band, 1, 2, 3, 7, 9 in cracks, and a 4 dot. With these tiles, what category would you focus on? Considering that we have a pair of flowers. So whatever we play, we're going to use the flowers. If these were my tiles, the first thing I thought about was ones with news. But then I thought, well, maybe we could play a year hand. Year hand, or maybe like numbers with ones. This, though, is risky. That's risky. So I probably wouldn't do that. I'd probably let the 4 go and do either a year hand or news with ones. Okay, we did get a 4. We have a 7, 8, 9. It's a little bit risky. Yeah, 7, 8, 9. That's a little bit risky. Okay, so we don't have any keepers there. We did get a dragon, though. Let's let the 9 and a 4 go here. We got an east and another dragon. Okay, so we want to keep going. We have to, this is what you would pick a hand because we have 1 discard. So I'm thinking news with dragons. We really don't need an extra east. And then I would probably let go of the year hand and do either news with ones and these flowers, of course, because this, whatever we do, we're going to use the flowers. I think because we have a pair of dragons, I would go for news with dragons. There's a north. We have a 4, 9. We don't need a pair of norths, though. I think what I would do, though, because winds are coming around, maybe we can gather winds and play all winds. Okay, here's tiles we can pass. There's a south. We have 3 tiles we can pass. All right, we've got discards. So I think we would do news with dragons here. Second hand from the bottom under winds. It looks pretty good. Let's let the 3 go. We have our pair, which is nice. We got it east. Okay, now there's an interesting situation. We've got jokers up there. We could take one of the jokers, but we need news. So let's just think about it for a minute. If we could switch to something else. We really do have some strength here. Really, this north can go. We could take the east and switch maybe to all dragons. I think I would take it. And then maybe recover with another. There are 2 more easts out. So we could do maybe all dragons. Maybe we could, even switch to a year hand, let the green dragon go. We could maybe try for, let's see, north and south with 4 to 5. We have 4, 5, north, south. Probably not now. There, that 4 can go. There's another joker. I think what I would do is probably do dragons with or without winds because of the east up here. We could maybe do news, but I think I would do all dragons second hand down, even though it's a gap hand. If a red dragon goes down, we could pung. We can use one of these jokers for the white dragon. We have 2 white dragons out, so it'll be a little bit risky. Another thing we could maybe do is switch to a quint and let the dragon go since it's already out. We'll see if we can pair up. So let's just see what happens. A 3, we don't need that. That would be hard for a quint right there. Let's let the 4 go since that came in there. Let's see, 3 bananas out. That's out. They got the joker. There's 1 more east. All right, for this, I would just go ahead and probably, there's a red dragon out and 2 white dragons, so I would Kong. Because we need a Kong regardless. If we play the news dragon hand or the second hand down. Okay, so now we're gonna nab that north and do all dragons. We're gonna need that couple of jokers for the white, but we could pung. We're gonna let this go now. Yeah, it comes with time. Yeah, there goes the last east. They got her. Oh, we're gonna pung. All right. So we need a flower and a joker. We need a flower and a joker. Yes, that comes with time, Charlotte. The longer you play, the easier it is to transition. There's a flower for us. So we're set now. We can palm the flower and pung the well, there's 1 more white dragon, so we will be able to pung. There's 1 more red dragon, so there's a joker open for exchange. It'd be nice if we can get it. There's our flower. Okay, so we're ready on a white dragon. Last one. A joker will do as well. We're good there. Oh, flower. They got it. Okay, so we got ready on that one. I was hoping that it was ours, but the robot ahead above us or across from us had the dragon. Okay, so that is going to do it for this live stream. If you would like to try playing at I Love Mahj, look for my email in the video description below. or there's also a link to the platform in my video description, so you can click that link as well. I do want to show you really quick here where you can find the live stream schedule for my website. So if you go to MAHJLIFE.com and you see at the top of the menu, I did add, by the way, a player navigation button. So if you click players, you can find an instructor in the MAHJLIFE Instructor Guild and expand your knowledge by using the wiki. There's also a link to it up here. And also refine your style by joining us on these Nitty-Gritty Mondays, which is where we're going to go here. So this is the American Mah Jongg Skills and Strategies Matrix wiki article. If you scroll down, you'll see the schedule for when we do these live streams. We alternate between beginner and advanced topics. And if you see here under coming up, that first column, there'll be an X for where we are. The next episode will be scheduled, and then you see when the last episode was for that particular topic. You can watch the last video and read any article if it's hyperlinked. So if you scroll down, you can see this is where we are right now. Next week, we're going to do hands of least resistance to expedite. So it's a different play or a different focus on the same kind of hand. And that is going to be a little more advanced. There are a couple of wiki articles there for you. And then the last time we did the episode, you could watch the video that way as well. So that will be scheduled for next. Let's see. Now, I'm not going to be here next Monday because I'm going to be traveling. I'm going to Milwaukee for a speaking engagement. And that is thanks to Sue Burse for sponsoring the event. I'm going to be at the Harry and Rose Sampson Family Campus Jewish Community Center on Sunday, next Sunday. So I will be traveling. There will not be any live streams on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So the next time we meet will be on the 31st. So a week from Monday, we'll meet again. And hopefully we'll have the new card. But we won't be playing with the new card for a week or so. I got to get a lot of work done to focus on the new card and updating all my presentations. And also I always write a, let me go full screen. I write an ebook and I have a presentation. I do a video that you can watch and study. So there's a lot of work to be done. I also need to film all my videos for the next batch once we get the new card. So this is a really challenging time of the year for many instructors, including myself, especially for anyone who is a YouTuber as well, because we do a lot of videos with presentations and things like that that we need to update based on the new card. I'm very excited about it, and I hope you are too. Does anybody have any questions about what we talked about today, or anything else for that matter? We have just a couple of minutes before we get to the top of the hour, so I'd be happy to answer any questions. I hope you enjoyed the topic today. I don't see any questions, so I guess I'll go ahead and sign off. Thank you for being here with me. Thank you for sharing about MAHJLIFE with your friends. Moderators, thank you very much for helping support the live streams with moderating the chat. I know there's a lot going on in there, and I wouldn't be able to do this without you. So thank you very much for your help. Also, I just want to remind you again. Oh, you're welcome, Charlotte. There will be no Nitty-Gritty Let's Play live stream on Monday because I'm going to be traveling. So we'll be back again on the 31st. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, consider subscribing. Click the little gray bell if you do. That way you'll get notification for when I post new videos, and you won't miss an opportunity to learn a new strategy or pick up insight in the game that could give you an advantage at the table. Between now and the next video, may all your picks be keepers.